And how do we know how much money you bring?
Because I tell people.
So you don't have any accountability system. You were just talking about accountability, so I was wondering about your accountability system. Do you have anything in place, like a PayPal account or anything that people can look at to see that what has been raised already?
Okay, you made a statement.
Because we're only going to take a break.
I'm hoping that you wouldn't cut me off. You don't want to answer questions. I'm wondering about your
Go to the break. She's a reactionary.
We'll take your calls first. We really got to take a break at the top of the hour. We'll take your calls in about 2.5 minutes. Psychologist. He's also direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. He's a Garveyite, folks. He works directly with our young people, especially our.
Now, I played that video right there because I wanted to show you guys something. As you see, Umar Johnson was running from accountability right there. Now, I want to show you guys this right here. If you go down here, let me go down. This video is from 10 years ago. The video is from 10 years ago. 53,000 views 10 years ago. And this is what people asked him 10 years ago. Right here. Look at this comment 10 years ago. Intelligent black woman. You were just talking about accountability, so I was wondering about your accountability system. Umar Johnson, certainly. Let me open this up. Go to the break. She's a reactionary. Just calling it out like you see it. Look at this. Umar Johnson, 10 years ago. I just want you guys to see this. 10 years ago. So I want to get into two videos today, and I really want to talk about these two videos because I think it's actually going to the scamming of Umar Johnson. So what I want to do is I want to get a comprehensive timeline of some of the scams that he's run, and I'm going to put that timeline up, but I'm going to do that next video. I just want to come up with the idea that there needs to be a comprehensive timeline when it comes to Umar Johnson and all these scams that he's been running. So I'm gonna start on that timeline. So I'll probably just add piece by piece on the videos that I put out, as I go along and add more to it. But there's two scams that Umar Johnson did, and I really want you guys to see this because I think Make a Change did a great video on one of them. So I'm going to react to Make a Change video. Then we're going to talk about the fact that Umar Johnson was sued for $3,000 by a black man who was actually working at FDMG because Umar Johnson didn't want to pay him. So without further ado, let's get into that video about Make a Change, and I'm with commentary on that. You guys have to most definitely go out and check out Make a Change channel because he's been on Umar neck for some time. Now, he's been on Umar Johnson's tail for some time now. Great videos he's been doing. Hold up. But there's one video that he did that actually, it just shows how much of a liar. Now, this is the guy that sued Umar Johnson for the $3,000. I don't know if he sued for more, but I know he was awarded $3,000. We're going to talk about that. That's that Don guy right there. He also covered that too. But I'm just going to talk about the court filing. However, he stays on Umar Johnson. Go check this guy out. He's made some great videos. This right here is my favorite one, A Complete Mess. He stays on Umar's, but let's get to that video that he did where it was actually Umar Johnson was out there. So what happened was a construction team was out there, but they weren't working on FDMG. But Umar Johnson announced to his sycophants that they were working at FDMG. So he put on a whole display. And just imagine you out there working, and some loser is just out there. Some guy is just out there recording you while you're working, and then he puts it on Instagram like. Oh, here you go, right here. This video right here, called lying again. So I'm gonna react to this video right here.
Of mixing truth with lies. And here is a perfect example. A few days ago, he posted this video with the caption, "Trust the process, build institutions, or be quiet." Looking at this video with that caption, one might believe that the work being done is related to the property that Umar Johnson purchased in Wilmington, Delaware. And this sentiment is shared in the video's comment section.
So what Umar did was he went out there, he was sitting on the porch of FDMG or standing on the porch of FDMG, pretty much recording a construction team that was actually working on the streets, the streets that where FDMG is at. You know what I'm saying? Now look at his sycophants hopefully a lot of them woke up by now. But look back then what they were doing. Like he just recording a random construction crew that's working in the area near him. He's just recording them.
It's clear from the video that work is being done, but does the work have anything to do with the property that Umar Johnson purchased? When we examine the video closely, we notice heavy machinery, a few traffic drums, and men wearing high visibility safety vests. Based on this, we can conclude that they are working on the streets. Also, we see the company name on one of the trucks, Diamond Materials. Who is Diamond Materials and what service do they provide? So let's do a quick Google search. Looking at the company's website, we see that one of the services they provide is asphalt and paving. If we go to the company's About Us page, we see a logo on one of the traffic drums. That is the logo for the Delaware Department of Transportation. So it's clear that this company works with the city of Delaware. However, that doesn't mean that Umar Johnson could not have also hired this company, but that is not the case. And here is why in black and white. On its website, Wilmington, Delaware makes it possible to find out which streets will be undergoing construction or repair. So if you enter the address of the property Umar Johnson purchased in Delaware, here is the property. We see this long gray line. So what does that long gray line mean? For that, we can look at the legend. The legend shows two gray lines, a light gray line.
And as you can see right there, it says Street Work City. So Umar Johnson's out here pretending that he's actually having construction crews at the FDMG school. Now you can. This is a scam. This is a scam. There's no debating that. He was out there trying to pretend that the construction crew was actually working at FDMG. That's a complete scam. And he didn't think nobody was going to do a fact check. So it's easy to post videos on the internet, but this is one of the scams that he's ran. Like I said, I got to do that comprehensive timeline of his scams. But let's get into the other thing. So the other thing I want to talk about, and this is Make a Change. I'm most definitely going to link him up. I link him up a lot. But his videos are well done. I'll say that for sure. Called Umar Johnson and many lies. And, this is just one of the lies. Him standing outside of FDMG recording a construction crew. Not actually hiring a construction crew, but just recording them. Like, just imagine you walking up to a construction crew and just start recording them and then telling your followers, hey, y'all, we working over here. We working. Of course, they had to be in a building or something. You can't just go to a construction crew on the street. But because the construction crew was in front of the schools, he thought he was actually doing something. So I want to go to this other thing right quick. And this is the last thing I'm going to cover. But I want to talk about this lawsuit that Don did with him. So let's clip over here. Okay, so I want to get over here to this right here. Now, if you go to the Wilmington, Delaware Courts website, and you can go to this, you can get this information right here. Now, this is a judgment between Umar Johnson and Don. You see right here, Donald Murray versus Umar Johnson. And Umar Johnson, by the way, he's lying on his paperwork because where is it at? Here you go. Umar Johnson, he's talking about he has no other aliases. Hope I'm saying that word right. But anyway, he's saying he have no more. We all know that he has plenty of aliases. But I want to skip down here. I'm gonna put Don's picture just for you guys to know who he is. He also has a YouTube channel, Don the FDMG Boogeyman. A lot of people already know who he is. Some people don't know who he is. But this is the guy that sued Umar Johnson back in 2023. And he was awarded. So you go down here to the very bottom. It says process findings of facts and recommendations for orders awarding damages. Conclusion: for the above reasons, judgment is entered against Umar Johnson in the amount of $3,000 plus post-judgment interest at the legal rate. So Umar Johnson lost in 2023. Now, this is very important to me because 2023 is a time that I've been highlighting a lot because Umar Johnson was going around collecting that money for the shockumentary. Now, while he's collecting money for a shockumentary, he's going through this court filing. So he's in court every day. Not every day, Jesus Christ. He's in court dealing with this whole lawsuit against him. But at the same time, he's out there. And where he got the idea from, it's very important where he got this idea from. Umar Johnson wanted to be like Tariq Nasheed so bad. So when Tariq Nasheed do something, Umar Johnson tries to copy off of that and see if he can get his followers to do what Tariq Nasheed people would do. So Umar Johnson got this idea of this movie. Now, this is the multiple times he collected money for a movie. But remember, he collects money for these movies around the same time that Tariq Nasheed collects money for his movies. But Tariq Nasheed actually produces the movie. Umar Johnson just produces a bunch of excuses at the end of the day. So in 2023, he tried to produce this movie called The Shockumentary. And this was in reaction because I think the movie that Tariq Nasheed he started collecting money for was American Maroon. So about 1 month or maybe 2 weeks after Tariq Nasheed started collecting money for that movie, then Umar Johnson announces his big movie that he's going to do because he wanted to outshine Tariq Nasheed. And he says, I'm going to do the Shockumentary. So Tariq Nasheed doing American Maroon while Umar Johnson is doing Shockumentary. He announced that 1 month after Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed collects the money, produces the movie. Umar Johnson collects the money while he's fighting the court. He collects the money, and sorry about the background noise, by the way. He collects the money and he does nothing with the goddamn movie. I mean, yeah, he does nothing with the movie. He makes a T-shirt. He has Shockumentary all on the T-shirt. He's talking about the Shockumentary. As soon as he collects all that money, he says it's going to take 4 months to produce the movie. We hear nothing after the 4 months. 2023, he collects money for Shockumentary, does do nothing. But this also ties into this court case because in this court case, he clearly had the $3,000. The court case ended, and let me go back down here. The court case ended and was done in September of 2023. He collected all that money, over $10,000 in the summer of 2023. The summer of 2023. Look, the court. Look at this right here. This is when the motion was granted. The judgment, September. Umar Johnson had all that money that time. He collected money for this movie, which he never produced. So what happened to that $10,000? What happened to all that money? He probably collected more than $10,000. I remember he was collecting that money. He never did anything with that money. But then at the same time, he was losing $3,000. Never paid Don, but he had the money, which is this is actually a court failing because this guy had the money. He just refused to pay. Now, I don't know if he paid for the courts, but the court fees or whatever, but I'm pretty sure he paid for that. But when it comes to paying Don, he paid him nothing. But he collected $10,000 that summer during his Shockumentary scam. But that's the only thing I wanted to cover today, man. This Umar Johnson dude, he's a scammer, con artist. You know what it is.